Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the National Assembly, brothers and sisters, pleasant good afternoon. As I stand here this afternoon representing the constituency of East Berbice Quarantine, I am very much happy to say that the Honorable Minister made mention that I have worked with the cash grant for region number 6, and I wish to say that I have worked with all the systems so that the people of East Berbice Quarantine can be able to receive what is duly theirs. Listening to the Honorable Minister for Education, the indication was made that there were 12 buses, big buses, the David G buses. I wish to state that we had 29 buses across the country and 5 for region number 6. Sadly to say that recently the PPP administration down 2 of the 60-seater buses, which is putting a very much difficult task on the poor people of East Berbice Quarantine. Mr. Speaker, my duty is to bring the facts, and that is where my presentation will be based on. As I indicated, I am here to bring some information basically as it relates and affects East Berbice Quarantine, region number 6, and to do that I take infrastructure. Infrastructure is very important for any economy, but we know that the people cannot eat road. The people cannot eat buildings. Even though we need the infrastructure, we need to put systems in place that whilst we do the infrastructural work, we afford the people to have enough cash so that they can spend on themselves, on their family, and more so, increase and improve their standard of living. We are seeing here, Mr. Speaker, a lot is being done for infrastructural work, but little is being given into the hands of the poor people. I must say, Mr. Speaker, for the past 18 months, the PPP has been holding office, and they have changed a few contractors who did some work about 5 times in the 46, 48 area and 54, 59 area in the quarantine. And to date, Honorable Mr. Speaker, we have not been able to benefit because the substandard work continues. Mr. Speaker, there is a large proportion for the quarantine highway, $8.3 billion. Mr. Speaker, the people of East Berbice Quarantine request a new highway. This highway was built when we had about 20 cars, 20 vehicles. And imagine from the 1960s to now, we have multiplied in terms of transportation. The people of East Berbice Quarantine is asking for a new highway, not to rehabilitate the existing one. We know that. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, budget speech, referring to budget speech section 411, the Honorable Member made mention to the rehabilitation of 4 vessels which will facilitate the traveling public. It is also critical for the movement of people and cargo. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say this afternoon in this Honorable House that you are saying that you will facilitate the traveling of the public, which is critical, and this same PPP administration down 2 of the speedboat that were traveling, transporting people old people, pensioners, children, working people from Rosignol to New Amsterdam. How can you bring into a budget now to say that you will put in place 4? And we had 2. You didn't maintain it. You just pull it out. Mr. Speaker, this is putting our brothers and sisters, both in New Amsterdam and Rosignol, Region 5 and Region 6, very high cost. They have to traverse the Burbis Bridge, which costs them approximately $300 to cross one time. Mr. Speaker, if these 2 boats were maintained, serviced and maintained, then the Guyanese people, our Barbician to be specific, would have been very, very much impressed. Mr. Speaker, I have not seen in the budget any major transportation for the people of Baracara. Also no upgrade for transportation to Uriala Siparuta. Mr. Speaker, I wish to turn my attention to health in East Burbis quarantine. For the past 18 months, we have not seen the construction of any new health center, but we are faced with the random service that we are having at many of the health facilities. I wish to say that if was not the private medical facilities, then Region 6 would have been in a bad state. Mr. Speaker, we have just passed a bill which we will be involved in organ transplant and tissue transplant. But we have not put in this budget, Honorable Speaker, an infectious disease hospital for Burbis or Essequibo. Thanks to APNU AFC government, the infectious disease hospital was built in Region 4 and it was used for, it has been of great service to the people of Guyana. We are asking now that the people of Burbis and the people of Essequibo need an infectious disease hospital as well, sir, so that we will be able to have state-of-the-art medical facilities. Mr. Speaker, page 47 of the budget reads, our clear policy mandate is that every health facility across the country must be sufficiently comfortable with functional and equipped with the basic amenities. We want to move from that, Mr. Speaker. The people of East Burbis cannot settle for basic amenities in the health facilities. The private institutions are too costly. That is why each health center, each hospital in region number 6, sir, must have not basic amenities, must have the best amenities so that the people can be able to enjoy ECG machines, cholesterol testing machine, X-ray machine, ultrasound machine. All these must be at all the health centers and the public facilities so that the people will have. Mr. Speaker, we have had part of this without oil. But now we have the Natural Resource Funds, so we are appealing so that the Health Minister, the Honorable Health Minister, can put systems in place so that the people of East Burbis quarantine will benefit from the money that belongs to all of us. Mr. Speaker, I wish to turn my attention to education, a very important ministry for the growth and development of any nation. I wish to say that the cash grant initiative is a good one, but I wish to further state that the amount allocated to the children is not enough. We are proposing that it can be amended that this budget we should have at least $40,000 for our school children so that we will be able, the children of this country, the children of East Berbice quarantine will be beneficiaries of the funds from the national.
Honorable member, the amount missed me. Could you just repeat that for me? The amount you're saying?
40,000, sir. Thank you. Sir, Mr. Speaker, in looking at our neighboring country, Trinidad, Trinidad is an oil-producing nation, sir, and all school children have free lunch here, sir. So we now have a newfound revenue. Why is it that we are only catering for a portion of our school population as it relates to meals? It will be good for the 174,000 of our children. All of our children receive meals supplied to them. Mr. Speaker, we're studying food for the children by. Mr. Speaker, 1.2 billion is set aside for textbook and science kits, sir. We are asking that we are moving in a technological era, and 1.2 billion for textbook. We know that our children have been receiving textbooks for the past 15 years. And textbooks are things that do not, disappear. It stays in the system for many years. We are saying, let us try to put more money into the electronic and computerized system so that our children can have preload tablets or computer or gadgets and be anywhere in the country and utilize the services. We know that we are moving in a technological era, and our children do not have the internet access. But we want our children to receive the gadgets so that they can be anywhere. Once they have electricity, they can charge up, have all the schemes and the notes and the exams, papers, past papers, and everything there, so that they will be on par with the children. All the children will be on par with what is happening in education. Mr. Speaker, it is evident that the PPP will not provide more public transportation for our children. We have not seen that in this budget, Mr. Speaker, and I want to appeal to the Minister of Education, the Honorable Minister of Education, and the Honorable Minister for Finance to ensure that we have at least 100 big buses in this country. Without oil revenue, Mr. Speaker, without oil revenue, we had 30. We had 30 big buses transporting our children across the country. And according to the Honorable Minister, Nigel Darmalal, now we have oil money. It will be very good for us to ensure that we have at least 100 buses that all our school children, 174,000 of our school children, can travel to school free. Mr. Speaker, as it relates to transportation at the East Berbice quarantine, to be more specific, East Bank Berbice. East Bank Berbice, Mr. Speaker, we had a 60-seater bus there in the East Bank Berbice area, bringing children from Mara to New Amsterdam. And we know that things tight. And we know that the people in East Berbice quarantine suffering. Mr. Speaker, the members of the PPP administration scrapped that bus, claiming that the bus has mechanical problem, an engine problem. But lo and behold, Mr. Speaker, the engine disappeared from the bus. Apparently, the engine got to somebody else, So, it is causing the parents of East Bank Berbice, Mr. Speaker, at least $1,000 a day to bring their children to New Amsterdam. Mr. Speaker, the 25 plus 5,000 that they will be receiving is just 1 month transportation. We are asking the Ministry of Education to put systems in place so that the people in the East Bank Berbice will have at least $190,000 a year. so that for the 39 weeks, they can have transportation to go. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say, the sugar workers in the Skelling area, they had a bus too. And you know what happened? The PPP scrapped it. They had a bus. Without any resources, without any new found oil monies, the people in Skelling had a 60-seater bus that used to transport the children from Skelling to the schools in the area. Region 6 bus, Region 6 school bus, sir. You know, I know you have a problem with the color of the bus, but you know, it would be better if you paint it in red and you know, let it continue to rule for the people. Now,
an honorable member, it would be good if we give you an extension so that you can conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I do move that the honorable member be given 5 minutes to conclude his presentation.
Thank you, honorable member. You may continue and conclude.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I was saying about the Skelling transportation in the Skelling area, Mr. Speaker, without the oil revenue, we know that the people in Skelling was having a difficult time. 60-seater bus was provided. The PPP scrapped it. We are having oil now, Mr. Speaker, and we are hoping that the Region 6 children will receive the various subsidies so that they can be able to go to school free. Mr. Speaker, in closing, I wish to say that we are not seeing any reduction in the Burbage River Bridge, the toll for the Burbage River Bridge. Mr. Speaker, I wish to bring to the attention of the House that it was the APNU AFC who subsidized $300 for every car or bus traveling the Burbage Bridge. With oil revenue now, we are not seeing it in the budget, Mr. Speaker, that the Burbage River Bridge price will drop to 1,000. The people of Region 5 and Region 6 will be happy if tomorrow the PPP says we will drop the Burbage River Bridge toll to $1,000. Mr. Speaker, we are appealing that the minimum wage should be 100,000. Workers of all category and all class should have at least 10 to 50% increase. Tax threshold be moved to 100,000. Cash grant be moved to 40,000. Subsidies be given to the small businesses up to 5 million. Increase of public assistance from 12,000 to 20,000. Drop the Burbage Bridge to 1,000. And Mr. Speaker, in closing, just imagine our senior citizens receiving $100 a day, token given from the PPP administration. $100 a day from oil revenue. Mr. Speaker, a loaf of bread in Burbage costs $3.40. You know? Mr. Speaker, giving pensioners $3,000 a month, which is $100 a day. Oil revenue Guyana, giving our old people, our old folks, who have worked all their life for this country, $100 a day. Thank you very much.